Welcome to the Unknown Vault. Here, every mystery is not just a story, but a gateway to secrets long hidden. Are you ready to uncover what the world was never meant to know? If you are, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join us as we unlock the unknown together. For thousands of years, humanity has looked up at the sky with wonder. The stars that glitter like diamonds, the moon that guards the night, the sun that gives us life, have been worshipped, feared, and studied by ancient civilizations. Yet behind this beauty lies a haunting question. Are we truly alone in the universe? For many, the answer is already clear. No. Evidence, they claim, can be found in ancient texts, mythologies, and even monumental structures like the pyramids, suggesting that humanity's journey was never a solitary one. But among all these mysteries, there's one that stands apart. A story that feels modern, yet whispers of roots that may stretch back thousands of years. The story of the Black Knight satellite, nicknamed Black Knight because of its dark, mysterious shape, like a shadowy guardian circling Earth. This object is said to have been in orbit for 13,000 years. Conspiracy theorists argue it's not of human origin, since satellites only appeared in the 20th century. So, who put it there, and why? This chapter will peel back the first layer of the Black Knight mystery, not just as a tale of space or technology, but as a reflection of mankind's timeless fear that we are being watched. We'll explore the earliest reports, the strange signals, and the whispers of a global cover-up. Imagine a massive, alien-looking object orbiting silently above our heads, watching, recording, waiting. Is it just wild imagination, a misunderstood scientific anomaly, or the clearest evidence yet that humanity has always been under observation by something far more advanced? To answer that, we must begin at the very start, with a brilliant, eccentric mind whose name has become legend in the world of science, Nikola Tesla. If we're going to talk about the origins of the Black Knight satellite legend, there's one man we can't ignore, Nikola Tesla. Today, Tesla is remembered as a genius far ahead of his time. The father of alternating current, a visionary who dreamed of wireless energy, free electricity for all, and devices that sounded more like science fiction than reality. But hidden within his work is a detail often overlooked. Tesla claimed to have received a strange signal from space. The year was 1899. Tesla was in Colorado Springs, experimenting with a massive wireless transmitter. His goal was to understand how energy could be transmitted without wires, using high-frequency radio waves. During these experiments, Tesla reported something unexpected, a repeating signal unlike anything he had encountered before. In his private notes, Tesla described the signal as too structured to be random. It wasn't just static or noise, it came in consistent intervals, like a pulse. To Tesla, this was not an accident of nature. He believed he was hearing a message from intelligent beings beyond Earth. Picture the scene: a lone genius standing in the Colorado desert at night. His machines crackle with arcs of lightning. The air smells of ozone. And then, through the strange instruments he built, a rhythm begins to emerge. A pulse, a beat, as if someone or something was reaching out from the void of space. Tesla would later say, if there are intelligent beings on other planets, this is how they are attempting to communicate with us. Of course, the scientific community wasn't convinced. Some argued Tesla had simply picked up natural cosmic radio waves, or interference from Earth. But to conspiracy theorists, this was the first real evidence, proof that humanity was already under surveillance. And the theory goes even further. What Tesla heard that night was not a random anomaly. It was the first whisper of the Black Knight satellite, a mysterious object said to have circled our planet for over 13,000 years. Decades later, other scientists would also report strange, repeating signals from space suggesting that Tesla may not have been mistaken after all. After Tesla's mysterious signals at the end of the 19th century, the story didn't fade away. In fact, as radio technology and astronomy advanced, more and more strange reports began to people to ask, is there really something or someone watching Earth? In the 1920s and 1930s, amateur radio operators and scientists reported picking up unusual signals. Some of these were repeating patterns, difficult to explain. But the real turning point came in 1928, when a Norwegian scientist named Georg Holst reported something extraordinary now known as long-delayed echoes, LDEs. Here's the mystery. Normally, when you send out a radio signal, the echo bounces back instantly. But Holst recorded echoes with delays of up to 20 or 30 seconds. Think about that. Imagine shouting into a cave. Normally, your echo comes back right away. But here, it's as if you shout, wait half a minute, and then the cave answers you back. Impossible, right? Scientists scrambled to explain it. Some blamed the ionosphere. Others thought it was faulty equipment. But even today, long-delayed echoes remain unexplained. And that's where the conspiracy theories began to grow. Some researchers suggested that echoes were being intentionally bounced back by an object. In Earth's orbit, an artificial satellite, placed there long before humans ever launched one. The story gained even more traction after World War II, when radar technology became widespread. Military operators occasionally reported strange, radar reflections that didn't match any known aircraft or natural phenomenon. Then came 1954. Two major U.S. newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner, ran shocking stories. The U.S. Air Force had reportedly detected two mysterious satellites orbiting Earth. This was headline news. Why? Because in 1954, no human had ever launched a satellite. The Soviet Union wouldn't send up Sputnik 1 until 1957, 3 years later. So what exactly was orbiting Earth in 1954? Was it just a mistake? Or was it evidence that something or someone was already there, circling above us? This is the moment when the legend of the Black Knight satellite truly began to take shape. By the 1960s, the world was locked in the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were racing to dominate every frontier. Nuclear weapons, ballistic missiles, and of course the space race. Anything related to outer space wasn't just science. It was military. It was politics. It was survival. And right in the middle of this tension, the mystery of the Black Knight satellite exploded in 1960. The U.S. Air Force launched a reconnaissance satellite called Discoverer 8, part of the secret Corona program. Its mission: spy on the Soviet Union from space. But during tracking operations, radar operators detected something unexpected: a massive, dark object in a polar orbit that was strange. Why? Because at the time, human-made satellites were usually launched into equatorial orbit. Polar orbits passing over the North and South Poles wouldn't become common until decades later. So what was this thing? A secret Soviet satellite, or something else entirely? Even Time magazine published a short article in 1960 about a dark, mysterious satellite circling Earth. The story spread fast, fueling speculation around the globe. But the real controversy came from NASA photographs. During missions in the late 1960s, astronauts captured images of a strange, black, irregular-shaped object drifting in orbit. It didn't look like any known satellite. No solar panels, no antennas, just a massive dark structure that looked otherworldly. NASA later explained the object was nothing more than a thermal blanket, an insulation cover that had accidentally floated away during satellite assembly, but skeptics weren't convinced. Why not? Because the object looked far too solid, too structured, and according to some researchers remained in orbit longer than a flimsy piece of fabric ever could. This fueled the belief that NASA was hiding the truth. To conspiracy theorists, those photographs weren't of space junk. They were evidence of the Black Knight satellite, a foreign object, possibly of alien origin, that had been circling Earth long before Sputnik. The thermal blanket story, they argue, was a convenient excuse to keep the public calm. Some even claimed NASA deliberately withheld telemetry data and restricted access to the original mission logs. From this point on, the legend of the Black Knight satellite had truly taken root. It was no longer just whispers among scientists. It became part of UFO folklore, fueling books, documentaries, and endless debates. After NASA's photographs surfaced, wild speculations spread like wildfire. Independent researchers and UFO enthusiasts began connecting the dots. Radar reports from 1960, magazine articles about a dark satellite, and the infamous black object that NASA dismissed as a thermal blanket. To conspiracy theorists, these weren't coincidences. They were fragments of a much larger story. And that story was bold: the Black Knight satellite is alien technology that has been orbiting Earth for thousands of years. For many believers, the Black Knight isn't just a piece of stray hardware. They see it as a surveillance system. With its polar orbit, it could slowly pass over every corner of the planet, scanning Earth with the precision of an ancient eye in the sky. Why else, they ask, would something so large and so persistent be circling our world? Some theories go even further. According to UFO researchers, the Black Knight is a guardian, a relic of an advanced civilization that placed it here long before humans even discovered fire. Its mission: to monitor us, to watch the rise and fall of empires, to silently witness the birth of technology, and perhaps even decide when mankind is ready for contact. Ancient myths of gods descending from the heavens, Sumerian tablets describing watchers in the sky are reinterpreted as coded references to this alien satellite. Of course, mainstream science dismisses this as fantasy. NASA's stance remains the same: it's space junk, nothing more. But the louder the denial, the stronger the suspicion grows. For many, the very act of denying is proof of a cover-up. If it's just a blanket, then why does NASA lock away original photographs? Why are mission logs missing? Why are radar reports classified? By the 1970s and 1980s, the Black Knight conspiracy had matured into a full-fledged legend. UFO books, late-night radio shows, and underground newsletters all promoted the idea that Earth was under long-term surveillance by an extraterrestrial intelligence. The satellite became a central piece of evidence in the belief that humanity was not alone and that our governments had known this for decades. As the legend of the Black Knight grew, it wasn't just about grainy photos or dark shapes drifting in orbit. The most electrifying part of this mystery came with claims that the satellite had actually sent out radio signals, signals picked up by scientists, engineers, and amateur radio operators around the world. The earliest story linked to the Black Night dates back to 1899. Nikola Tesla, the eccentric genius, claimed he had detected repeating signals from outer space using his experimental antenna in Colorado Springs. Tesla believed it was no accident. He thought it was a message from intelligent beings beyond Earth. At the time, people dismissed his claims as wild speculation, but decades later, conspiracy theorists would connect the dots. Could Tesla have been the first human to detect the Black Night? In the 1920s, Norwegian radio operators began to report strange phenomena known as long-delayed echoes, LDEs. They would send out radio signals, only for them to bounce back after an unusual delay that science couldn't fully explain. Some speculated it was atmospheric interference or a technical quirk. Others believed it was something far stranger, an unknown object in Earth's orbit reflecting those signals back, as if saying, "Yes, we hear you." The most shocking account came in 1960, when Time magazine published an article about a mysterious dark satellite orbiting Earth that wasn't on any official list. Along with sightings, there were rumors that it had been transmitting radio signals. For believers, this was the smoking gun. The Black Night was not just passive, it was active, and it was trying to talk. Over the years, theories flourished. Some suggested the signals contained star maps or coded messages waiting to be deciphered. In the 1970s, one researcher even claimed the decoded signals pointed to the star system Epsilon Boötis, implying that the Black Night had traveled from there. Was this mere coincidence, or was the satellite revealing its origins to us? Mainstream science, of course, brushed it off. They chalked it up to ionospheric interference, equipment errors, or echoes from human-made satellites. But for conspiracy theorists, the dismissals only strengthened suspicion. If the signals were so trivial, why were early reports so hard to access now? Why did investigations suddenly vanish? Why did Time magazine cover it once and then never follow up? The more you look, the more the pattern emerges. The Black Night isn't silent, it's whispering. It has been sending out signals for decades, testing us, probing our curiosity, and perhaps waiting to see if humanity is ready to respond. The question is, are we listening carefully enough, or are we too eager to dismiss the possibility that something out there has been trying to reach us all along? In every great mystery, there are always two sides of the battlefield. Scientists armed with logic and data, and conspiracy theorists armed with suspicion and intuition. The Black Night satellite is no different. Since the first reports emerged, both camps have been locked in a narrative war, one insisting on rational explanations, the other convinced of a cover-up. Scientists argue that the Black Night is nothing but space debris. NASA has officially explained that the famous photos often circulated online show nothing more than a thermal blanket that drifted away during a shuttle mission. To them, the idea of a 13,000-year-old alien satellite is absurd, unsupported, and frankly, laughable. If you ask a physicist or an astronomer, they'll tell you extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. There is none. But conspiracy believers see it differently. To them, the official explanations are too neat, too convenient. They ask, if it's just a piece of junk, why does it have such a distinct shape? Why were radio signals from the 1920s and 1960s suspiciously linked to an unidentified object in orbit? And most importantly, why does NASA seem so quick to dismiss instead of investigate further? For them, the answer is obvious. It's a cover-up. Some argue that scientists aren't lying, they're just trapped. Academia punishes those who wander too far into crazy territory. Talking about aliens or mysterious satellites could ruin a career. So, researchers stick to safe explanations, leaving the strange questions unanswered. But to conspiracy theorists, that silence itself is damning. If there's nothing to hide, they ask, why go out of your way to deny it? The media only adds fuel to the fire. Sometimes mainstream outlets cover the Black Knight as a serious curiosity, then suddenly drop the story. Other times, they mock it as a laughable myth. Yet for true believers, that mockery only strengthens their conviction. If they want us to laugh at it, then maybe we're not supposed to know the truth. Thus, the Black Knight is no longer just a dark object circling our planet. It has become a battlefield of worldviews, a symbol of the eternal clash between scientific skepticism and conspiratorial imagination. Who's right? That's the mystery. And maybe that's the whole point. If science and conspiracy battle in the realm of logic and data, then there is another path, one that dives into mysticism, esotericism, and spiritual interpretation. To some, the Black Knight isn't just a physical object in orbit. It's a symbol, a guardian, a cosmic watcher that has been with humanity for longer than we realize. Spiritual groups often claim that the Black Knight confirms what ancient teachings have said all along. The sky is not empty, but alive with presence. In myths across civilizations, there are stories of the eye in the sky, the watcher from the stars, or the silent guardian that observes humankind. For mystics and seekers, the Black Knight is the physical manifestation of these ancient archetypes, a sign that myths may hold more truth than we once believed. Some link it to the Gnostic concept of the archons, cosmic beings that watch over humanity, not necessarily benevolent, but controllers who keep the soul bound to the material world. In this lens, the Black Knight isn't an alien satellite at all, but a spiritual prison guard keeping us from discovering our true freedom. But not everyone sees it as sinister. Other spiritualists interpret it as a Bikana message left in orbit thousands of years ago, waiting for humanity to evolve. They believe the Black Knight will one day activate, transmitting knowledge or guidance when we are morally and spiritually ready. In this sense, the Black Knight is hope itself, proof that we are part of something bigger, a cosmic community of intelligence and spirit. In the esoteric view, then, the Black Knight is more than mystery. It is a mirror. It forces us to ask not just what is it, but what does it mean for us? Are we free beings in an open cosmos, or are we still under watch, still students in a universal classroom, waiting for the final lesson? In the modern world, when mystery collides with imagination, we get a space where fact, fiction, and symbolism blend together. The Black Knight satellite has moved far beyond NASA archives and conspiracy forums. It has become part of pop culture. Its presence is flexible, adaptable, and reimagined through different lenses. As an alien watcher, an ancient secret, or a representation of our collective fears about humanity's future, pop culture thrives on mystery. Movies, TV shows, novels, and comics constantly feed off the unknown. The Black Knight is perfect fuel for this fire. The idea of an alien object orbiting Earth, silently observing humanity, has appeared in countless Hollywood works. Shows like The X-Files and Stargate SG-1 hinted at mysterious cosmic artifacts. And while they may not have explicitly named the Black Knight, fans familiar with the lore could easily see the connection. Comic books have also played with the imagery of the Black Knight, The very name Black Knight has long been used for superhero or anti-hero figures, characters cloaked in secrecy, wielding hidden knowledge, or representing forces that exist beyond ordinary human understanding. Even though these fictional characters weren't created to reference the satellite, the repeated use of the term deepened the cultural resonance. Black Knight began to symbolize mystery, hidden power, and cosmic enigma. Music and contemporary art have also echoed the theme. Indie musicians and progressive rock bands have used the Black Knight as a metaphor for resistance against surveillance, control, and the unseen forces shaping our world. In this interpretation, the Black Knight becomes a modern myth for the age of data and cameras, embodying our fear of being watched, whether by extraterrestrials or by governments. From a psychological perspective, the Black Knight can even be seen as a universal archetype. Carl Jung described recurring symbols that emerge across human cultures, dreams, and myths. The Black Knight may very well be one of these, an archetype of the Watcher, the shadow in the sky. It taps into something primal, humanity's fear of the unseen, paired with our longing to find meaning in the darkness above. In the digital era, the Black Knight has found new life. It has become a recurring topic on Reddit threads, YouTube documentaries, TikTok edits, and conspiracy podcasts. Every blurry image, every unexplained satellite photograph is instantly connected to the Black Knight. What started as a mysterious object in orbit has evolved into something more, a meme, a symbol of our collective digital imagination. Through pop culture, the Black Knight has transcended its supposed origin story. It is no longer just about weather. NASA discovered an alien satellite. It is about what the symbol represents. Science fiction, mythology, art, psychology, they all collide in the figure of the Black Knight. And that collision tells us something about ourselves, that we are drawn to mysteries, not only for answers, but for the stories they inspire. When we trace the long journey of the Black Knight mystery, one fascinating detail emerges. It has crossed beyond science and conspiracy, embedding itself into global culture, symbolism, and even spirituality. The Black Knight is no longer just a dark object in Earth's orbit. It has become an icon of mystery itself. Let's begin with popular culture. Movies, TV shows, and video games often include the idea of an ancient satellite watching humanity, even if they never name the Black Knight directly. It has become an archetype and expression of our deepest fears and curiosity about being observed from above. In music and art, too, the influence is visible. Bands have written cryptic lyrics, and visual artists often depict a shadowy object floating in the sky as a metaphor for an all-seeing eye. In this way, the Black Knight has already taken root in the collective imagination of modern humanity, regardless of whether it physically exists. Then comes symbolism. Conspiracy researchers often frame the Black Knight as more than just a machine. They call it a cosmic sentinel, a watcher that observes humanity's growth. Like the gods of ancient mythologies who judged mankind, the Black Knight is viewed as a silent guardian, perhaps waiting for the right moment to reveal its purpose. Some spiritual and esoteric groups go even further. To them, the Black Knight is not merely technology, but a cosmic archive, a library in orbit that stores the history of humankind. They even compare it to the Akashic Records, a metaphysical concept describing a universal database of all events and knowledge. If so, the Black Knight represents humanity's unseen connection to something far greater. And then there's the global conspiracy angle. Many believe powerful governments like the US and Russia already know the truth about the Black Knight, but they conceal it because its secrets would shatter civilization as we know it. Imagine if the public suddenly learned that a non-human satellite had been orbiting Earth for thousands of years. Religion could collapse. Politics could shift overnight. Our entire sense of identity as the only intelligent species would be shaken to its core. That's why some claim the Black Knight is hidden. It's safer to dismiss it as space junk than to admit humanity is being watched, and here lies the true strength of the Black Knight. It is not only a puzzle of science, not only a thread of conspiracy, but a mirror reflecting humanity's fears, hopes, and deepest imagination. It is a modern myth shaping how we think about ourselves in a universe too vast to comprehend. Perhaps the truth about the Black Knight will never be revealed, but that's what keeps it alive. Humanity needs mystery. We need unanswered questions. To keep searching, dreaming, and asking, are we truly alone? Or has something been watching us all along? The Black Knight satellite, does it truly exist as an ancient 13,000-year-old alien probe? Or is it nothing more than a series of misunderstood photographs, garbled radio signals, and human imagination? Even today, no definitive answer exists, and that's exactly where the power of mystery lies. It doesn't demand a single explanation. Instead, it opens the door to countless possibilities. For some, the Black Knight is undeniable proof that humanity is not alone in the universe, that long before our rockets touched space, another intelligence was already here watching, waiting, perhaps even guiding us in ways we can't yet comprehend. They believe the Black Knight is a silent witness, drifting above Earth, carrying secrets of civilizations older than humankind itself. For others, it's simply a reflection of our own imagination. A story born from misinterpreted signals, strange shadows on grainy photographs, and humanity's obsession with life beyond Earth. In this view, the Black Knight is a modern myth, a story that grows with time, fueled by the internet, pop culture, and our endless desire for the unknown. And then, there are those who believe it's both a hybrid of fact and legend. Perhaps something once existed, but over decades, layers of speculation, conspiracy theories, and cultural storytelling wrapped around it, transforming it into the legend we know today. And that's why this mystery endures, because no matter which explanation you choose, the Black Knight lives on. It lives in online forums, in late-night documentaries, in music, in art, in our dreams. As long as someone asks, is there really a mysterious satellite watching us from orbit? The Black Knight will never die in the end. The Black Knight teaches us something crucial. Sometimes, the value isn't in the answer itself, but in the journey of searching. Maybe the Black Knight will never be revealed, but it has already given us something greater, infinite space for imagination, wonder, and curiosity. So picture this, out there, in the endless night sky, something might be watching. Maybe the Black Knight is just a legend, or maybe every time we look up at the stars, we are staring back into the eyes of something that has been there for thousands of years now. Let me ask you this. Do you think the Black Knight is nothing more than a modern digital myth, or a cosmic secret deliberately hidden from us? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might just open a new way of seeing this mystery. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because here, at the Unknown Vault, every mystery isn't just a story. It's a doorway to secrets still waiting to be discovered.